Number 10. The Queen can ban humor. It was said that once Queen Elizabeth II passed away, the people of Britain were banned from being funny on public television. Seriously. BBC wasn't allowed to air anything humorous for the 12 days between her passing and her funeral. It was said previously that, in the event of the Queen's passing, BBC would immediately stop what they were doing, make the announcement of her passing, and start airing the documentaries about the Queen's life that have been pre-recorded. The station even had black suits and ties ready to be thrown on at a moment's notice. But you will never ever hear the royal family say these words. Number 9. The royal family does not have to obey legal speed limits, but only when they're driven by police on official royal duties. When the King, Prime Minister, and other members of the royal family are driven by police officers on official royal business, they can drive as fast or as slow as they please. According to The Sun, the Road Traffic Regulation Act gives permission for police, fire, ambulance, and other enforcement agency vehicles to break speed limits. Since the royals are always driven by police escorts while completing royal duties, their vehicles are thus exempt from following speed regulations. Number 8. Members of the royal family are exempt from paying taxes in certain instances. Though the monarch was not legally required to pay taxes, the Queen made voluntary payments on income, assets, and gains not used for official purposes, insider previously reported. Other parts of the royal family's income, like the Prince of Wales' income from the Duchy of Cornwall, are also exempt from taxes. However, he also, quote, voluntarily pays income tax on all revenue from the estate, according to the official website. Number 7. The British monarch can't be arrested or be the subject of civil and criminal proceedings, meaning he is effectively exempt from the law. King Charles enjoys sovereign immunity, meaning he can't be prosecuted under a civil or criminal investigation. This rule also applied to the late Queen Elizabeth II. According to previous guidance on the royal family's official website, quote, although civil and criminal proceedings cannot be taken against the sovereign as a person under UK law. The Queen was careful to ensure that activities in her personal capacity were carried out in strict accordance with the law, however. Number 6. The monarch typically had 2 birthdays. According to the royal family's official website, the Queen celebrated 2 birthdays each year. Her actual birthday on April 21st and her official public birthday celebration on the 2nd Saturday in June. Across generations, sovereign rulers have often held their public birthday celebrations on days other than their actual birthday, especially when their real birth dates fall in the autumn or winter. This is in order to increase the likelihood of good weather for the annual Trooping the Colour parade, according to the royal family website. Since King Charles's birthday is in November, he could follow his mother's lead and have a second celebration in June too, although it is yet to be confirmed. Number 5. The Queen didn't have to use a passport to travel, and this is likely also to be true for King Charles. Every passport in the United Kingdom is issued with the Queen's name. As a consequence, the Queen didn't need her own passport to travel, according to the royal family website. Following the Queen's passing, passports are likely to be altered to reflect King Charles as the new sovereign. However, much like the process of altering British money and stamps, this will be a gradual change and could take a number of years. British coins and banknotes, which have the Queen's portrait on them, will be replaced with a portrait of the new monarch, King Charles. The process of replacing the portrait will, however, take a while, as I mentioned, because of the large number of banknotes currently in circulation, according to the coin expert. While the Queen succeeded her father King George in 1952, she didn't appear on the Bank of England note until 1960, according to the Bank of England. All other members of the royal family, however, do hold their own passports, the royal family website adds. Number 4. The royals are also able to skip out on jury duty. One royal perk is that members of the King's family do not have to take part in jury duty. If you get a jury summons in the post, you must respond within 7 days and confirm if you can attend. Usually it works by your name being chosen randomly from the electoral register. You'll be part of a jury of 12 people to decide the outcome of a criminal trial. Jury service usually lasts up to 10 working days. If the trial is likely to last longer than 10 days, jury staff will let you know. If the trial is shorter than 10 days, you may be asked to be a juror on other trials. You'll usually need to be at court from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, but times can vary. So kind of like a 9-to-5 job, except you're not getting paid. In normal instances in the United Kingdom, evading jury duty results in a fine up to or around $1,000. However, for the King and members of his immediate family, jury duty is not required, The Guardian has reported. Number 3. Her Majesty was never required to have a driver's license. At the age of 18, Queen Elizabeth II trained as a driver and mechanic for the Women's Auxiliary Territorial Service during World War II. She insisted upon joining the army, when she trained as a truck driver as well. She also remains the only female member of the royal family to have served in the army. The Queen was never required to take an actual driving test, however, and was also able to drive without a number plate because all driver's licenses in the UK are issued in the Queen's name, according to the Daily Express. Following his accession to the throne, King Charles III no longer requires a driver's license now. And now he is the only person in the UK who can drive without one. It was also added that the entitlement does not extend to Camilla, as the Queen Consort still needs a license to drive. The lack of needing a driver's license is said to be a privilege greatly enjoyed by monarchs. Number 2. While regular grandparents have to go through the courts if they want custody of their grandchildren, the king has automatic legal custody of all his descendants and his minor grandchildren. The monarch has legal custody of their grandchildren, a royal historian told news.com.au in 2018. This means Charles technically has custody of Prince William and Kate Middleton's 3 children, and Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's children Archie and Lilibet. This 300-year-old rule was passed by a majority of 10 out of 12 judges in 1717, who decided the monarch's right of supervision extended to his grandchildren, and this right belongs to His Majesty, King of the Realm, even during their father's lifetime. This goes back to King George I, who ruled in the early 1700s, and the law has never been changed. He did it because he had very poor relationship with his son, the future King George II, so they had this law passed that meant the king was the guardian of his grandchildren. Though it's unlikely the king would ever take his grandchildren away from their parents, the law is still technically there. When Prince Harry and William were little, Prince Charles asked the Queen if both children could fly on a plane together to Scotland, to which the Queen said yes. Technically, they needed permission to travel. The Queen has the last word on parenting decisions like that. Or now the king, I guess. However, as Harry and Meghan have stepped down from the royal family, the rules about that law are a little iffy now. However, hopefully it won't ever come to the situation where the king wants to take full custody of Harry and Meghan's kids. Now coming in at number 1, the royals don't have to use their legal last names. The royals are not required to use their legal last names, even though they technically do have one. Before 1917, members of the British royal family had no surname. Kings and princes were historically known by the names of the countries over which they and their families ruled. Kings and queens therefore signed themselves by their first name only, a tradition in the United Kingdom. The names of dynasties tended to change when the line of succession was taken by a rival faction within the family. In 1917, there was a radical change when George V specifically adopted Windsor, not only as the name of the house or dynasty, but also as the surname of his family. The family name was changed as a result of anti-German feeling during the First World War, and the name Windsor was adopted after the castle of the same name. But now the male line descendants of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip bear the last name Mountbatten-Windsor.
Number 10. The Queen. You can't talk about royal films without discussing 2006's The Queen, for which a heavily make-upped Helen Mirren won an Academy Award. Set in the days following Diana's passing in 1997, the film explores the inner workings of the monarchy as its highest-ranking members decide what role, if any, they are to play in the public mourning of the departed princess. Having been stripped of her formal Her Royal Highness title following her divorce from Prince Charles 1 year prior, Diana was no longer considered a member of the royal family. Queen Elizabeth II, Mirren, therefore believes she owes the public little in the way of acknowledgement of her ex-daughter-in-law's demise and is averse to a public funeral service. Though liberties were taken from the real-life story, in the film it's up to then Prime Minister Tony Blair, as played by Michael Sheen, to change her mind and ultimately save the monarchy. Some of the film's plot was likely rooted in truth, with actual headlines from the time reading "Show us you care" and the world watching on the real-life stage. England's longtime ruler chose in real life to fly the flag at half-mast at Buckingham Palace for the first time ever and pay tribute to the late princess in a nationally televised address. Number 9. The Princess Diaries. If there's one film you're sure to have seen on this list, it's The Princess Diaries. Before you scoff at the inclusion of this feel-good Disney classic, hear me out. Sure, Mia, Anne Hathaway in her breakout role, is completely made up, but a quick refresher of this early 2000s film proves that many of the protocols and behaviors the teen is forced to adopt as an heir to the fictional kingdom of Genovia ring rather true as far as royalty goes. For Mia, it's not enough to simply don a tiara and shine her inner light. Rather, her grandmother, Queen Clarice of Genovia, Julie Andrews, sets out to mold her into someone more worthy of the crown. With rule after rule to learn, princesses never cross their legs in public, Queen Clarice declares, Mia is ultimately forced to choose between her life of normalcy and her newfound imperial duties. Sound familiar? Maybe Princess Diana or Meghan Markle. Number 8. The Young Victoria. Queen Victoria, who served as the Queen of the United Kingdom of Britain and Ireland for 63 years, was no shrinking violet. When tradition dictated that no one could propose to a reigning monarch, she took matters into her own hands, proposing to the man who would go on to become her husband, Prince Albert, the father of their 9 shared children and the love of her life. Their epic romance is recreated in the 2009 flick The Young Victoria, in which Emily Blunt gives a smart performance as the fiercely independent, if sometimes sheltered, titular character, who would succeed King William IV at just 18 years old. Wrote Roger Ebert at the time, Victoria lives in a hermetically sealed world. She meets no one someone not vetted by the palace hierarchy, has no meaningful independence, is having her life mapped for reasons of state, not the heart. Still, she made the most of it. Her period of reign is now associated with the country's golden age of expansion. Number 7. Grace of Monaco. I don't know how I'm going to spend the rest of my life in this place where I can't be me. Grace Kelly, Nicole Kidman, whispers to her trusted confidant, Father Francis Tucker, Frank Langella, at the height of her despair. The American movie star upended her whole life in the States and gave up her career to become Princess Grace of Monaco, wife to Prince Rainier III, but it didn't go how she had hoped. Everything she says and does seems to be wrong. Her new husband is cold and distant, and she misses things back home. While it's unclear whether such a conversation between the two actually took place, other real-life friends of Kelly's hinted at her initial unhappiness in her new life. I'm sure there were times in the early years where she felt somewhat like a prisoner in a gilded cage behind the palace walls, said Joan Dale, Kelly's closest friend, in a section from her new book, My Days with Princess Grace of Monaco. While movie maker Alfred Hitchcock, for whom she was a muse, tried to woo the actress back to the States to make more films, Kelly ultimately remained by her husband's side in Monaco during the country's international crisis with France. Princess Grace also made an effort to learn the language and customs of her new home, settling into the country where she would live out the remainder of her life. Number 6. The Girl King. Queen Christina, born Christina Augusta, rose to power in the 17th century, having succeeded her father, Gustavus Adolphus, at just 6 years old. Having reportedly read about England's Elizabeth I, Queen Christina shocked her kingdom by doing the same, refusing to take a suitor as her husband. Her journey, which was once portrayed by Queen siren Greta Garbo in the 1933 film Queen Christina, was recreated for the silver screen once more with 2015's The Girl King. This adaptation more closely explores her nonconformist relationship with gender and her rumored intimate affairs with her closest friend, Ebba Spar. It also recounts the events that led the Swedish ruler to convert from Lutheranism to Catholicism and abdicate her throne in 1654 to her cousin, Charles Gustav. Number 5. The Prince and Me. For a more lighthearted take on life as a royal, there's the 2004 rom-com The Prince and Me, in which the fictitious Edvard of Denmark leaves his world as a crowned prince behind to experience life as a student on American soil. There he meets Paige, Julia Stiles, who opens him up to everything he's been missing out on. It's not all doves and roses for the fledgling couple. They still must win over Edward's disapproving parents, King Harold and Queen Rosalind. The film's poignant themes of longing for escape from the obligations of public service and feeling trapped are likely ones Prince Harry himself could relate to. As Queen Rosalind tells her son's new paramour, being royal requires you to sacrifice who you are for who you must be. Number 4. The Other Boleyn Girl. This movie, starring Natalie Portman, Scarlett Johansson, and Eric Bana, gives the Showtime series a run for its money. And while we know ol' Hank liked to sleep around, he had 6 wives and many mistresses, remember, that may be one of the few historically accurate aspects of this film. The movie, based on the book of the same name by Philippa Gregory, centers on Henry's real-life second wife, Anne Boleyn, and her sister Mary, with whom he was also romantically involved. Although some major plot points are fuzzy, it's not confirmed by historians that Mary's son was Henry's, and all that incest stuff is questionable. What's definitely true is that this love triangle was filled with deceit, revenge, and eventually beheading. Number 3. Elizabeth. Before Queen Elizabeth II ruled on high, there was Queen Elizabeth I, who went down in history as the only English queen to never marry. While she has been portrayed in several films and television adaptations throughout the years, it was 1998's Elizabeth, which featured Cate Blanchett as the leading lady, that would perhaps become the most acclaimed. Though Elizabeth I managed to establish Protestantism during her reign, champion the arts, and bring peace to her then tumultuous country, her worth was reduced by many of her subjects to what was seen as a failure to wed and produce a royal heir. In the end, it was her rival, Queen Mary of Scots, that would birth the next King of England, James IV of Scotland. With Elizabeth, however, Blanchett managed to restore some of the historical figure's power, proclaiming herself a bride of England and ruling the quote, the Virgin Queen. Number 2. The King. The main theme of Netflix's The King? Well, be careful who you trust, especially when you're a ruling monarch. A war film based on Shakespeare's dramatized account of King Henry V's rule, this Netflix adaptation sees star Timothée Chalamet being reluctantly drawn into the final stages of the 100 Years' War at the urging of those in his court. While he would be remembered as one of the greatest warrior kings of medieval England, in the film he accepts his role with reluctance, something that differed from the king's real-life demeanor. According to the history books, the real Henry V believed himself to be divinely ordained to carry out God's great work, which could only be achieved through a show of military force. Number 1. Spencer. Spencer takes a brief moment in time, a Christmas spent at the royal family's home Sandringham, and adds a heavy dose of mental torment to exemplify what Princess Diana might have experienced at the hands of the British royal family. Kristen Stewart shines as Princess Diana and is especially charming when interacting with the two young boys who played Prince William and Prince Harry. While not the traditional biopic that some might have hoped for, Spencer is a compelling take on a moment in time, and it's a take that's not easily forgotten. The film employs jarring dream sequences, the ghost of Anne Boleyn, and the truths that the audience knows but Stewart's Diana has yet to realize, such as her inevitable separation from Prince Charles and her slow approaching tragic passing, all the while offering a window into what Diana's mind state might have been. Stewart is both dazzling and unnerving as Diana, lending a special tenderness towards her children despite the psychological misgivings from the rest of the family. At number 10, we have the aptly named revenge dress. Camilla has bought many items to replicate Princess Diana's own dresses. After Prince Charles had broken up with Princess Diana and had gotten with Camilla, Princess Diana wore a dress with bare shoulders to an outing, as it would have been previously not allowed when she was still a member of the royal family. Shortly after, Camilla wore a very similar dress to a different outing. This has been dubbed the revenge dress. At number 9, there's the infamous monochromatic baby pink outfit. Princess Diana was famous for her boldness in fashion and colors. She was so good at combining them that they soon would become a trend. Camilla knew how good Diane looked and decided to try it out many years later. Camilla wasn't really ever that into bright, flashy outfits, but as soon as she saw Diana try something, she was on it like a moth to light. At number 8, the hats. Camilla was never really into hats, but she quickly changed her mind after seeing Diana with a large collection of her own hats that match every outfit perfectly. Camilla hopped on the wave and began her own collection of hats that she doesn't even like wearing. Diana wore all sorts of brands from Versace to Gucci, and Camilla is now following in her footsteps by adorning multiple brand name hats. At number 7, there's the navy blue dress combined with sapphire earrings. Diana wore this piece when she was no longer a member of the royal family. She wore this navy blue lingerie combined with a luscious pearl and sapphire necklace. Camilla Parker chose the same shade and a very similar set of pearl and sapphire necklaces. Jewelry is somewhat of a sacred thing in the royal family, and whenever you wear something that has some sort of significance to another member, it can be extremely disrespectful. At number 6, we have the polka dot dress paired with a white blazer. The thing about this dress blazer combination is that it feels so deliberate. Diana originally wore this outfit to the Epsom Derby in 1986, and years later, Camilla wore a very similar outfit to an engagement. Camilla really can't get enough of polka dots since the first appearance, and has since worn many styles with polka dots in them.
What can you tell me about the polka dots? This has definitely been her season of polka dots, hasn't it?
Yes, I think she's cornered a market here. I don't know who makes them, but they're doing very well.
At number 5, her killer casual day off fit, which included jeans, a navy blazer, and a white blouse. Diana first showed this outfit years ago, and Camilla brought it back recently. The original outfit was designed for a casual yet professional look when Princess Diana wasn't actively in an engagement, and Camilla seems to have taken that idea completely for herself, wearing it once again during a casual day. At number 4, there's Diana's slight obsession with long coats. Princess Diana had the iconic look of long coats during colder seasons and freezing country engagements. Camilla once again stole this look when she wasn't really into them before. On her engagements where Camilla wears a long coat and a hat, she's wearing something she doesn't even like just for the sake of copying the previous princess. At number 3, pearls are Camilla's best friend. Princess Diana often wore luxurious pearl necklaces to fancy ceremonies and outings. Camilla has copied many custom designs that Princess Diana has adorned and affixed them onto herself. The pearls that Diana wears are ornate and white, with silver attachments. Camilla has also been seen wearing very similar designs. At number 2, another iconic look featuring a coat this time. One of Princess Diana's favorite looks was her beige coat and a crisp white shirt underneath. Camilla won't even leave Diana's favorites alone, as she wore almost the exact same overcoat and shirt combinations to many engagements and outings last winter. At number 1, we have King Charles himself. The now King of the United Kingdom, Charles, was actually married to Princess Diana before Camilla. Camilla even came to their wedding and said that she was an old friend of Charles. It came out in 1994 from Charles himself that he was having an affair with Camilla, and it took years for the Queen to accept her into the royal family. Diana was seen crying in an infamous photo of Charles heading onto his aircraft because the first person he saw when he landed back in the UK was Camilla.
Starting up this countdown at number 10, luxury cars and private jets. According to AutoBiz, Markle cruises around town in a $122,000 Range Rover Vogue, a $45,000 Lincoln MKC, a $500,000 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, an $80,000 Cadillac Escalade, a $30,000 Toyota Camry, and a $75,000 Lexus LS. She's also been spotted by British media in a Jaguar E-Type and multiple Audis, with Harry in the driver's seat. The couple also uses a $6.5 million Cessna 680 Citation Sovereign plane, private jet, an asset that sparks heavy criticism of the two climate change activists. It's fitted with stunning interiors, leather seats, executive desks, and spacious bathrooms. It's unknown, however, whether they bought the aircraft for themselves or if they just hire it on occasion. But regardless, that's still a lot of money. Meanwhile, some celebrities fly commercial because they care about the planet. Number 9, education. Meghan Markle attended Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles, which costs over $17,000 per year to attend. Markle had later graduated from the all-girls Catholic school in 1999. Now, this may seem crazy, but the royal family reportedly spends around the same amount on schooling, so maybe that's why she fits in so well, although nowadays she doesn't really. Prince George, the 9-year-old son of Prince William and Princess Catherine, started attending Thomas's Battersea School in London in September 2017. Tuition and fees totaled over $7,000 per term for students aged 4 to 7, and there are 3 terms per calendar year. The price, however, decreases for each subsequent child enrolled concurrently per family, so Princess Charlotte and Princess Louis' tuition will cost not as much, but will probably still be quite a bit. George and his siblings then began attending Lambrook, an independent preparatory school, in September 2022, and tuition ranges from $5,000 to $9,000 per term depending on the student's year in school. Number 8, holiday decor. Her husband, Prince Harry, isn't content to let staff do all the holiday decorating for his Nottingham cottage home. In December 2016, the royal was spotted buying an approximately $4,000 Nordmann fir Christmas tree from Pines and Needles in South London's Battersea Park with Meghan Markle. The Daily Mirror reported the prince paid for the tree with a credit card. Markle also reportedly happily accepted a bunch of mistletoe with her purchase, while the prince wasn't keen on it. Seemingly in the holiday spirit, staffers told the publication the happy, low-key couple was friendly and largely slipped under the radar. Number 7, clothing. A royal fashion blog found that Markle came out on top with a mind-boggling $500,000 spent on her wardrobe just that year, 5 times more than Kate Middleton, according to textile market intelligence platform Yards and Fibers. However, the report did factor in a pricey jewelry piece, which has been speculated to be a gift from Prince Charles, but remains unconfirmed by the palace. Typically, gifts aren't included. The ranking was also only based on clothing pieces that could be identified, of course.
Though Markle is known to flaunt H&M and J.Crew on occasion, she's also been spotted in a $3,500 Oscar de la Renta gown, a $4,700 Armani dress for her Oprah interview, an $18,000 Givenchy dress, and a $75,000 Ralph and Russo gown for her engagement pics with Prince Harry, per Insider. And if you thought that was expensive, there's also the $157,000 Stella McCartney silk crepe dress worn at a wedding reception, and $265,000 Givenchy wedding gown. Number 6. Staff. Up until March 31st, 2022, Queen Elizabeth's payroll expenses totaled nearly $24 million, on top of other staff costs of $3.8 million, according to the Sovereign Grant and Sovereign Grant Reserve Financial Summary. Doing one's own grocery shopping, cleaning, and laundry is decidedly unroyal, so Prince William and Kate have a little help. It's unknown who's currently assisting the family, but in May 2017, The Sun reported that housekeeper had recently quit her roughly $46,000 per year job because it was too demanding. And of course, Meghan doesn't need as much staff as the Queen did, so she probably doesn't spend that much, but it's estimated that she does spend around $1 million per year on staff costs. And as just one of Kate's staff members quit because she was too demanding, Meghan's staff also have a lot to say about her. Meghan has been called a narcissistic sociopath who played her former advisors. It was like working for a couple of teenagers, according to the reported words by their highly regarded private secretary who had been recommended by the Queen after years of loyal service. And Meghan's behavior had apparently been difficult and demanding from the start. Number 5. Jewelry and watches. At her wedding to Prince Harry, Markle wore a $155,000 Cartier bracelet from the Reflection line, and $68,000 earrings after the ceremony per Hello. Markle also sported Lorraine Schwartz earrings worth $40,000, and an eternity ring costing $62,000, according to The Richest. But her most expensive piece of bling has got to be her $350,000 engagement ring from Cleveland Company, though she's also worn priceless heirlooms once worn by Princess Diana, Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Mary. Markle's $5,800 Cartier Tank franchise seems to be her watch of choice, and she's been sporting it ever since she became a royal. She told Hello in 2015 that she, quote, totally splurged on the two-tone variation after starring in Suits. But what about her gold Cartier Tank? It's rumored that the striking heirloom once belonged to Princess Diana, per Vanity Fair, and may have been passed down to Markle after she met Prince Harry. Number 4. Renovations. $3 million was reportedly spent renovating the 10-bedroom manor home, Frogmore Cottage, which I mentioned earlier where they bought their crazy expensive Christmas tree, that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry share with their children. The couple moved to Frogmore Cottage in Windsor back in March 2019. The property, which was previously used as royal staff headquarters, required the renovation of, quote, 5 residential units in poor condition, according to the report. Number 3. Everyday life. Okay, so what about everyday necessities? According to news.com.au, the couple are estimated to spend up to $1.2 million a month beyond the designer clothes and bling. Other expenses include a $200,000 baby shower, which Serena Williams kindly paid for, $11,000 on acupuncture and numerology during her pregnancy, a $43,000 baby moon, possibly up to $59,000 a year on nannies, and of course holidays, as per Insider. Markle's favorite wine, Tignanello, costs $130 a bottle. And let's not forget about the couple's membership at Santa Barbara Polo and Racket Club, which costs nearly $10,000 a month per closer. Splurges aside, the couple does commit an admirable amount of time and money donated to noteworthy charities too. In addition, the Sussexes are estimated to spend $4.5 million annually to sustain their lavish lifestyle. They propose that their security would be costing the couple more than $4.5 million annually. This, along with other expenses such as their mortgage, is estimated to add up to over $6 million annually. Number 2. Bags. She may keep Harry as permanent arm candy, but the Duchess of Sussex is also known to boast a serious collection of luxury handbags. She's donned a $4,900 Dior Lady Delight, a $985 Gucci Dionysus, many Strathberries including the $770 Mindy Tote, a $920 Bottega Veneta wallet, a $780 Mulberry Darley, and Victoria Beckham powder box bag worth $620 per Hello, and the list goes on and on. Now coming in at number 1, mansions. After Lovebirds announced their exit from the royal life in 2020, they moved into a $14.7 million Montecito mansion in Santa Barbara, California, swapping British royals for neighbors like Tom Cruise and Ellen DeGeneres. The 18,000 square foot 9-bedroom property features a cinema, office, spa, arcade, library, wine cellar, and everything you can imagine for a Hollywood home, according to 8 Days. They lived there with their children Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana. Before the big move, they called Britain's Frogmore Cottage home. The historical countryside abode had has been a royal residence since 1792, and the Duke and Duchess dropped around $3 million on taxpayers' money for renovations before they stepped down from the royal duties per hello. People often love to jump to the conclusion that Meghan is using everyone she can, but is it true? I'm your host Michaela, and today I'm going to talk about the top 10 times that Meghan Markle used Prince Harry for his status. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps us out. But now let's get started. Number 10, used him to get to the top. Morning show host Piers Morgan has been one of Meghan's fiercest critics, claiming she dumped him as a friend when she started dating Harry, though I think he might be confusing the word acquaintance with friend. Anywho, when the couple stepped down in January, Piers said that Meghan used Harry to get to the top, and tweeted, "People say I'm too critical of Meghan Markle, but she ditched her family, ditched her dad, ditched most of her old friends, split Harry from William and has now split him from the royal family. I rest my case." He also called the couple a pair of repulsive, deluded, narcissistic tools. Imagine announcing this in the middle of a global pandemic. Imagine thinking anyone cares about their hurt little me egos as health workers around the world are dying at work. "What a pair of repulsive, deluded, narcissistic tools," he tweeted. Morgan had also banned conversation about Meghan and Harry on Good Morning Britain after they announced there would be no further corroboration and zero engagement between them and the four UK tabloids The Sun, the Daily Mail, the Mirror, and the Express. "Let's not talk about Meghan and Harry today. I can't be arsed. Let's just forget about them," Morgan said on the show. Number 9, faking being in love. Australian feminist Germaine Greer doesn't know Meghan, but that didn't stop her from telling 60 Minutes that she thinks Meghan isn't actually in love with Harry, but is just using him to catapult herself into wider fame. "All I can think is she'd better be in love," Greer said. "If she's been faking it all this time, oh boy, what misery." She also claimed that the Megxit was part of Meghan's plan to manipulate the royal prince and use his name as a ladder to become more well-known in the entertainment industry. According to Greer, the luxurious $32 million royal wedding on May 19th, 2018 started the show, and the supposed romantic wedlock turned into show business in disguise. The feminist added the fact that although Meghan became a duchess, she still did not give up the opportunities outside of the royal palace, only proving that Meghan's life only revolved around show business. "The whole point about showbiz, it's not real, it won't sustain you," she suggested. Number 8, gold digger. When Meghan and Harry announced their foundation's name and details, according to the Daily Mail, they hadn't yet finalized registering for their website and someone else snapped it up. And that person did something terrible to it. Speaking to the Telegraph, the Sussexes shared a few details about the foundation. Before Sussex Royal came the idea of arch, the Greek word meaning a source of action, they told the newspaper. "We connected to this concept for the charitable organization we hope to build one day, and it became the inspiration for our son's name." Some hacker took the opportunity to register archwellfoundation.com and redirect it to a YouTube video of Kanye West's gold digger video. An obvious insult to Meghan. Of course, now it's fixed, but it's kind of sad that someone would take something that's focusing on positive change and turn it into an embarrassing joke. Number 7, a ruthless social climber. Piers' first scathing attack on Meghan came in December 2018, months after praising her and her humanitarian work. He basically said that Meghan married for the fame. Meghan Markle is a ruthless social climber actress who has landed the role of her life and is determined to milk it for all she can. And that's why the palace is beginning to turn on her. Since then, Piers has only escalated his attacks, but I think maybe he's just butthurt that she didn't pick him. Meghan and Piers messaged for a while, and when Meghan visited the UK to watch Serena Williams at Wimbledon, they met for a drink. Piers later revealed, "We had 2 hours in the pub, she had a couple of dirty martinis and pints. We got on brilliantly. Then I put her in her cab and it turns out it was the cab that took her to a party where she met Prince Harry. The next night, they had a solo dinner and that was the last I ever heard from Meghan Markle. I never heard from her again. Meghan Markle ghosted me." Piers said he was ditched like a sack of spuds. Yup, sounds like someone who's a little butthurt. Number 6, will blindside Harry with a divorce. As far as her critics are concerned, now that Meghan and Harry are out as senior working royals, the next natural step is for Meghan to divorce Harry, since supposedly he would have outlasted his usefulness. He might be a prince, but he's inexperienced at the ways of the real world. His head must be spinning at how fast he went from a castle to Canada to the middle of LA. And the worry is she might blindside him with a divorce, and he would lose everything, including his money and possibly even Archie, a palace source supposedly told Women's Day Australia. Wednesday Australia, April 13th, 2020 issue also suggested that Prince Harry may not experience a happy ending after all Meghan's alleged real scheming begins. Number 5, out of money. Plenty of networks around the world world aired Meghan and Harry's engagement interview. When Britain's Sky News streamed it live, the comments from viewers started rolling in, and not all of them wished the couple well. In fact, among the congratulations and the racist trolling and the accusations that Meghan was acting during the interview were plenty of jabs accusing Meghan of being in it for the money. She's seeing British pound signs, one commenter wrote. She won the lottery, wrote another. When she collects that money, she won't give a crap anymore. Number 4, played Harry. Meghan is apparently such an evil mastermind that she's been planning to be a part of the royal family since childhood. So said Meghan's former friend, Nanaki Pretty, who sold the Daily Mail a trove of pictures of Meghan, including one where 15-year-old Meghan and her friend posed in front of Buckingham Palace. "I'm not shocked at all," she told the tabloid about the wedding. "It's like she's been playing this all her life. She gets exactly what she wants and Harry has fallen for her play. She was always fascinated by the royal family. She wants to be Princess Diana 2.0. She will play her role ably, but my advice to him is to tread cautiously." They met at age 2 at a prestigious kindergarten in Hollywood and became inseparable. "We were sisters, everyone knew that. We would be hand in hand everywhere." Meghan's father Thomas was a lighting director on popular US TV shows such as Married with Children and General Hospital. From an early age, Meghan visited those sets and decided fame suited her, Miss Pretty said, laying the foundations for Princess Pushy as she later became known. Number 3, out to commercialize the royals. Meghan's critics love to emphasize over and over that she was a nobody before marrying Harry, a not so subtle way of interjecting classist and racist overtones as to why she doesn't belong in the royal family. Never mind that Meghan was a self-made millionaire who did charitable work before Harry, something that another royal bride, Kate Middleton, cannot claim. So author Tom Bower went on British TV and said that Meghan had no status outside of the royal family, and marrying Harry had enabled her to commercialize her royal ties. Number 2, wants to be president. According to a book by Lady Colin Campbell, who has made an entire career out of writing about the royals, Meghan used her marriage to Harry to position herself to be president of the US someday. "I know the Duchess of Sussex has political ambitions, and I've been told that one day she wants to run for president," she told the Mail Online. "I think everything she is doing, leaving the royal family and moving back to California, is part of her plan, and she has taken Harry along with her." Now coming in at number 1, isolated Harry from his family. A magazine or tabloid can just whip something out whenever they need a story, and boom, a rumor is born. Here's one from Women's Day, in which a palace source supposedly said that Meghan orchestrated the move to LA to live that Hollywood celeb life, exploiting not just Harry but also Archie. "You can't tell me that this wasn't her plan all along, to bring her boys to America so she could live the celebrity life she'd always dreamed of." It all makes sense now why she was so uninterested in getting a British visa, and was dead against giving Archie a royal title. The royal family is crazy rich, which shouldn't be a surprise, but today I'm going to tell you which ones are the richest. I'm your host Michaela, and today I'll be telling you the top 10 of the highest paid royal family members, and make sure to subscribe because it really helps us out. But now let's get started. Number 10, Kate Middleton, Sophie Wessex, and Prince Edward. Despite being one of the most famous British royals, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, ranks comparatively low on the list when it comes to her bank balance. Also hailing from a noble family, she's still not doing badly with $10 million. According to Cosmopolitan, her parents' party planning business is worth over $36 million, and her great-great-grandfather apparently set up a 7-figure trust fund for his descendants, which set the Middletons up nicely. Oh, and let's not forget she also wore the most expensive royal wedding dress to date, which cost a whopping $332,000, and it was designed by Alexander McQueen. Prince Edward and his wife Sophie Wessex are also worth $10 million each. Edward was very active in the theater and TV production industry, even owning his own company before giving it up in 2002 to pursue his royal duties full-time. Sophie, Countess of Wessex, also attends official royal events. Number 9, Prince Philip. Prince Philip was born penniless on a Corfu kitchen table and slept in an orange box. When he married the Queen in 1947, the Duke of Edinburgh's naval income was just $10 a week. In 1969, he also went on to US television to plead poverty for the royals, saying they might have to sell a polo pony or two. Then just before his passing, more than 70 years later, he received over $500,000 a year from the Sovereign Grant, a rise that far surpasses wage inflation for the rest of us, even though he no longer carried out any duties. Nonetheless, a palace insider had revealed it, quote, wasn't enough, and that the Queen had to supplement it. Quite how he had managed to amass over $28 million is a mystery, although the fact he didn't pay for much probably helped. A pattern set back as far as 1956, when an extended trip on the Royal Yacht Britannia cost the public purse $2 million. Number 8. Lady Amelia Windsor. Lady Amelia Windsor is not that well known stateside, but she's one of the most popular members of the royal family and the 36th in line to inherit the throne in Britain. Her paternal grandfather, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, is the first cousin of Queen Elizabeth. She was a model who was deemed by Tatler to be the most beautiful royal, and her Instagram gives an insight to the life of a royal we wouldn't normally see. She also makes an estimated $1 million a year through brand deals and collaborations, so she's getting there. Number 7. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Apparently being a youngster in the royal monarch comes with some pretty big bucks. Prince George is estimated at a net worth of $3 billion, and Prince Louis is estimated between $70 million and $125 million. Princess Charlotte, however, takes the cake from the entire family with a whopping $5 billion. The reason for Charlotte's incredibly high value is in large part due to her fashion influence, taking off closely after her mother. The stylish tot has eyes on her style all over the nation, deemed as the Charlotte effect, a yellow pastel patterned cardigan worn by the princess from a popular British department store sold out in 24 hours. Regardless, their substantial value doesn't mean the royal children can go around flashing their Amex cards wherever they want. Since the royal children haven't physically received inheritances or even worked a day in their life, their net worths are calculated by the value to the UK economy, because they believe the children have the potential to drive billions in sales. Therefore, their net worths have been determined as so. Number 6. Camilla, Queen Consort. The Queen Consort is rumored to have a net worth of around $5 million. Before marrying Andrew Parker Bowles in 1973, Camilla worked as a secretary for a variety of firms in London's West End, and as a receptionist at the decorating firm Sybil Colfax and John Fowler, though she likely didn't make her millions there. Her wealth is generated through various endeavors, including real estate holdings, as well as a strip end from the Duchy of Cornwall, much like other royals on this list. Number 5. Princess Diana. Lady Diana already came from an upper-class background closely tied to the British royal family when she met and married Prince Charles. However, she was of course best known for her philanthropic and advocacy work before her untimely passing in 1997. Her net worth up to that point stemmed from her work as a royal while married to Charles, and later $22.5 million from the divorce settlement, per the New York Times. She also reportedly left the cash she had to her two sons, Harry and William, as hinted at in Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview. Number 4. Princess Eugenie. Unlike her cousins, Princess Eugenie isn't a working royal, so she isn't supported by the Sovereign Grant, which is a taxpayer-funded pool of money that covers royal salaries and is different from the Duchy of Cornwall. But that's okay because in 1994, the Queen Mother, as in Queen Elizabeth's mom, put 2/3 of her money in a trust for her great-grandchildren. Eugenie and sister Beatrice were the beneficiaries of this, as well as a trust fund set up from the money her mother, Sarah Ferguson, received from the royal family in her divorce, which is estimated near $4 million. In addition to all this, Eugenie has a full-time job as associate director at London art gallery Hauser and Wirth, where she pulls in $145,000 a year, and Town & Country estimates her net worth to be around $4.8 million. Number 3. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Though the Sussexes have officially stepped down from their working royal roles in the family, the couple's post-royal lives in America remain a hot topic in Britain, though not always for the right reasons. Either way, they certainly both put in the hours to achieve a lot of money. After 10 years in the Royal Air Force, Prince Harry retired in 2015 to focus on philanthropy. 5 years later, he and wife Meghan Markle formally left the senior royal family and moved to California. When he walked away from his annual royal salary, he was able to lean on his roughly $9 million inheritance from his mom, Princess Diana. "I've got all my mom left me, and without that, we would not be able to do this," he told Oprah. Harry and Meghan also signed production deals worth up to $120 million with mega platforms like Netflix, Spotify, and Apple, with a rumored Netflix reality show on the cards. However, Vanity Fair reported that one of Netflix's shows, an animated series of Markles, was axed due to the streaming giant's financial woes, while the Spotify gig is also on pause according to royal commentator Neil Sean, because the couple are reportedly rethinking their decision to work with the platform after Joe Rogan controversies. Still, they did pull off their Apple TV gig with Oprah, a documentary with a mental health focus titled The Me You Can't See, featuring guests including Lady Gaga and Glenn Close. Forbes also estimated in 2021 that he and wife Meghan Markle had a nest egg of about $5 million, and their net worth including their Montecito house was around $10 million. Number 2. Prince William. According to Business Insider, Prince William and Prince Harry are worth each $25 to $40 million. They both received inheritances from their late mother, which I already mentioned, a lump sum of $14 million when they turned 30, and dividends of $450,000 each year after they turned 25 per Forbes. William used to receive a salary that he in fact donated to charity of $62,000 for his work as an air ambulance pilot before he retired to focus on his duties as a royal. Following Queen Elizabeth II's passing and King Charles' ascent to the throne, it's also thought he'll inherit the Duchy of Cornwall, which has a portfolio of over $1 billion in assets. Number 1. Queen Elizabeth II. Prior to Queen Elizabeth II's passing on September 8, 2022, the late royal's net worth was an estimated $520 million, according to WealthX, a global wealth insights firm. Most of the money came from ownership of Balmoral Castle for $140 million, Scotland and Sandringham House for $65 million in Norfolk, England, which were her own properties, rather than properties of the Crown Estate. The Crown Estate, which is the sovereign's public estate, and includes real estate properties like Buckingham Palace. The Queen did take 15 to 25% of the profits generated from the Crown Estate properties, and collected a salary from the Duchy of Lancaster, which is different from the Crown Estate, and represents a private and independent income reserved for the Duke of Lancaster, aka the Queen. She also had a valuable stamp and jewelry collection, but that is all, and thanks for watching.